On our musical director, Mr. Nolan Shahid, who is a trumpet player and also the pianist, Mr. Don Wyatt. These are several people that have had a very integral part of what we are doing in the Jazz Zone, and especially with the Jammin Foundation in terms of our opportunity to develop leaders. The opportunity with the Jammin Foundation connects our youth leadership through training, mentorship, referrals, promotions, and performances that sustain our valuable historic music, especially in our foundation here in America of gospel, blues, and jazz. We are dedicated to promoting the overall welfare of musicians, artists, through preserving and recycling America's valuable music, art form in music, art, and recycling the art and music with science in a green, educational environment zone. And that's what we were doing right there on the campus of John Muir High School in the city of Pasadena. And it was my pleasure and the pleasure of the musicians to be able to bring this comfortably to the students and showcase what is needed and what is necessary in the sound of music. If we can play the CD of Dal Scott McDuff, even if we choose, I think it's number 2. The song is called All That I Ask, and I'd like that to play in the background as we're going through these photos as well.
All that I ask is that you love me. All that I ask is that you care. Now I've known times of being lonely and how it feels to be blue, needing someone to love me only. That one and only can be you. So darling, all that I ask is for your love, dear. I'm the kind of girl who needs a kind of guy like you.
Yes, my girl, Miss Dal Scott McDuff, founder of the Jammin Foundation, certainly has put down an effort to be a jazz master at singing for many years and many decades. And we really appreciate her music and the opportunity here. My name is Roscoe Lee Owens, and I am your host in the Jazz Zone. And like none other, enjoy life with God's blessings. Thank you for tuning in and enjoy the entire opportunity in the zone.
All
See you soon.
that I ask is that you love me. All that I ask is that you care. Now I've known times of being lonely and how it feels to be blue, needing someone to love me only. That one and only can be you. So darling, all that I ask is for your love, dear, to have and to hold forevermore, yes, forevermore. Sure as the skies are blue, you can bet that I love you. Darling, all that I ask is just a chance to prove my love is true. All that I ask is that you love me. All that I ask is that you care. Now I've known times of being lonely and how it feels to be blue, needing someone to love me only. That one and only can be you. So darling, all that I ask is for your love, dear, to have and to hold forevermore, yes, forevermore. Sure as the skies are blue, you can bet that I
Again, well, welcome to the Jazz Zone. My name is Roscoe Leons, and I am your host in the Jazz Zone. And a show like none other. In fact, this show, we're going to start talking about the legacy. We're going to talk about the history of the Jazz Zone and the Jammin' Foundation and how that all came to be. And then we have with us a special guest, a special person in the Jazz Zone, Miss Maria Ganea, with us as well this evening. How you doing, Maria?
I'm really good.
You're really good.
Yeah.
Yes, you are. And that's why we are developing as we are within the Jazz Zone. Now, I'm going to give a history as it relates, and you hear me interacting the Jazz Zone and the Jammin' Foundation almost in the same sentence. And that is because there has been a transition. The transition came from the opportunity to grow up in music, and especially in jazz, with my father, Jimmy Owens, a jazz drummer, West Coast jazz drummer that played on Central Avenue. Central Avenue in Los Angeles was a very, very famous development of the West Coast jazz. And they had on Central Avenue all kinds of clubs called the Club Alabama. In fact, not far from Central Avenue, there was the 5-4 Ballroom. And you were talking about people like Sammy Davis Jr., when he was a little young man performing. All the hype in the late 40s and 50s come off the Club Alabama and various different historical clubs that were there, including a very, very famous hotel, the Dunbar Hotel, which was the foundation of where jazz was being played on Central Avenue in the city of Los Angeles. And there we have a young lady, her name is Cora Bryant, and also several different musicians that we've been able to celebrate their legacy in what we're doing with the Jammin' Foundation. The Jammin' Foundation is a foundation founded by a wonderful woman, a wonderful singer, the name of Doll Scott McDuff, whose painting is here with us on set, and it was a painting done by a very, very fantastic artist. It's called Doll in Red, and that is the image that he had brought together in terms of being able to do an image of Doll. Doll Scott McDuff played in music. She's a pianist, and actually Doll Scott was also a drummer, but she was well known as a jazz vocalist. And in her development in the late 50s, my father, Jimmy Owens, was her drummer in the band, and they played on Sunset Strip all over the Los Angeles area, and she flew all over the United States singing and performing. With her understanding as she became a senior in jazz, she developed what was known as the Jammin' Foundation. The Jammin' Foundation stood for Jammin' America's Music, May It Nurture. And it was to develop an understanding and continue the legacy honoring the jazz format, the blues format, and the gospel format. So it was for those individuals and young folks growing up to understand that the basis of America's true art form was the development of gospel, blues, and jazz. Through my upbringing and living in a home of a jazz drummer, I had the opportunity to grow up listening to a lot of jazz, and especially jazz played live in my living room as they had jam sessions, as they had rehearsals for various different gigs that they would be performing as professional musicians. In my early age, I didn't really know what my father did. I just knew he worked a day job, came home and was gone in the evening. And as I grew up, I said whatever he was doing, I wanted to do, because on Friday evenings, it appeared that he put on this sharkskin suit, threw on all this cologne, looked good, and left. And so for the weekends, he would do that. But as a family man, he had a job, so there was an understanding of musicians having to work, support their family, and do what they love doing, and that's play music. And that's how I grew up. And in essence, I had the opportunity to continue his legacy in terms of being able to promote his jazz band. He had a trio with Mr. Roger Hamilton Spots and also Mr. Robert, that was Bob Lacefield, that was a saxophonist. And then he found a beautiful young lady named Mary Lou Marquez, and that developed to the Jazz Zone Jamming Foundation. Actually, it was the Jimmy Owens Jazz Ensemble, which led me into being very much involved with Miss Doll Scott MacDuff. Our opportunity to continue the legacy was to keep it alive, keep jazz playing live, so we did a lot of promotion. But in order to continue the legacy, we had to understand that the movement is in our youth. And so we developed a very strong youth component of what we're doing in the Jamming Foundation Jazz Zone series. So what we did, and I'm going to show a roll-in at this time, because what we did was begin to bring and participate with our youth in the community. And the roll-in that we're going to have was from a music clinic that we did with professional musicians, but also with the opportunity to work with our students and our youth in our community. And if you show that roll-in, it is from our music clinic at John Muir High School here in the city of Pasadena with the Jazzy Jam concert series that was developed by Miss Jackie Snell. So let's have that roll in, and then we'll go to another phase of what we're doing in the Jamming Foundation right now, and that's what's up in the zone. Let's see it, let's hear it, let's do it.
This is Dave, I'm playing guitar. I didn't even see him back there, I'm sorry about that. And here we go. Keep going.
John Muir High School Jazz Ensemble, very much. Give them another hand. They're excellent, very much. I'm not quite sure what's going on there, so I don't know if we have another tune ready or another chart. You guys ready for another chart, maybe?
Yeah.
I think you can do another chart. I'm very, very sure. Oh, yes. I believe the next one is called Sea Jams, am I right? Sea Jam Blues, Duke Ellington. Got a little Duke Ellington for you. Once again, Zarky Palmer, Josh Casas, Maritza Espinosa, Devon Baca, Car Davis. Doing a good job. Go ahead. Excellent job. Way to go, guys. Nice job. Real quick before I wanted to move on to what we're going on our program, I want to give a big shout out to our awesome principal. Miss Cheryl Owens is in the house. Would not be possible without her support and her advocating to have music in here, have music stay here, and have music flourish and explode, which is it's going to do. It's still going, so I wanted to definitely give her a hand for that, for her support in there. And last but not least is our music boosters. We have a music boosters. We have volunteer parents that come, and we meet once a month, and we are always trying to support our groups here. And I want to give a shout out to them as well, very much for them to support our kids and to support me as well, because I can only do so many jobs in one day. So, but it was without them they wouldn't be able to do that. So I appreciate them very much.
And he's absolutely right. That's the musical director of John Muir High School. Without your support, we won't have anything happening. Our schools are being inundated with the fact that there's not a large budget. In fact, the small budget that they have is a gone budget, meaning there is no budget. We must be about our children's education and especially keeping jazz alive. And not only jazz, but music in its entirety. The Jamming Foundation is about that, and we are about our children, but we're about the development, using music to develop successful leaders, and that's what we really need. And in fact, in order to do that, you need corporations from our corporate companies throughout America and throughout the world. Our corporations, we're asking them to step up and be sure that they have funds put aside to support the arts. And I don't only mean music, I'm talking about the entire aspect of the arts. And in order to do that, what we had to do in the Jamming Foundation is develop a program that is set up to develop leaders through music, art, and science. And so what I did in the Jazz Zone, infusing with the Jamming Foundation, is find an absolutely wonderful lady that had so much experience with corporations, corporate training, music from all aspects, jazz and classical, to help put together a program of music that is an absolute phenomenal aspect of developing leadership. And that young lady is here with us on set. Her name is Maria Ganea, and I would like to introduce you to her as well. Thank you again for being on this set. And I have to say that the roll-ins was because of the good work that you did in helping us at that music clinic. But what I don't want to put you on the spot, but I want to get the spot taken care of. And that is, how are we in the Jamming Foundation going to develop a leadership program, or how has the leadership development program been instituted so we can get started with it?
Yeah. Okay. You made me happy.
There you go.
And music makes happy anyways,
Yes.
in any situation. And before I go into the whole seminar and leadership training, I want to point out, first of all, that it's incredibly important for especially kids and young people to learn music, to learn an instrument, because they develop skills they can take advantage of for a whole life. First of all, when you learn to play an instrument, it doesn't matter which instrument, you learn how to listen.
Yes.
And how to listen is incredibly important in partnership, in private personal relationships, but as well as with customers, or when you're a leader, with your own crew, or with your business partners, to listen.
Yeah.
Another attribute they develop when they are playing music, when they are playing together, like we saw it now in the roll-in of the John Muir High School Jazz Band, is they learn how to play together.
Yes.
Which means they have to take care of each other, they have to listen to each other. There is a leading person, so they have to follow orders, like the downbeat of a conductor or the leader or the first violin in the classical musician. They have to take their solo parts, and they have to take the responsibility as a team member to know their parts, and they do not go their solo ways, soloist ways when it's not necessary or not asked for. So these are a lot of personal skills they can rely on later on. And then I want to say, because it has to be said, to become a professional music is a hard task. You need perseverance, and you have to strive for excellency. And there's the famous quote that you need your 10,000 hours of excellencies, like the Beatles had, or in the industry, like Bill Gates had on his computer. So when you have the perseverance with music, you can show excellency in every profession.
Yes.
And this is my background. I worked a lot with musicians in the classical area, and most of it was to present themselves, the body language, the mindset. Like an athlete, they need an incredibly strong mindset, And a lot of them have to overcome stage fright, of course, and the expectations of society, of parents, of schools, or their own expectations. This is the mindset.
Yeah.
And you can work on that. And these are attributes of a leader. You have to have that to get authority. And now we are in the Jamin Foundation, it's incredibly because we have the creative point of making music, and I see it very practical as this personal experience, and a lot of these skills are not God-given. You can develop it, and you have to develop it. And I'm a trainer. Like in sports, if you go to a gym, you have some hours, but you can learn how to hold a speech, how to go on stage, how to dress yourself, how to talk about topics. Another leadership skill is how to express yourself. How precise is your language? Can you give orders, and in what quality is it?
Yeah.
Or do you let your crew make assumptions? What does he really want? You know?
Yes, yes.
So we bring the music and music making and the arts together with the television studio, with the work on television, which will be in cooperation and with the support of the studios and the staff and the equipment. And it's the same, creating a promotional clip or a television show needs certain skills. To sit in front of the camera is different than behind.
So we have in the Jamin Foundation the opportunity to train and share this knowledge.
Yes.
Yes.
And this is where we brought it all together. As I am not a musician, you guessed right. I am looking for all the practical professional and life skills you can use. Now, we will work in future mainly with youth, but our training and seminars and projects are open for everyone because it's a lifelong learning.
Correct.
You can always get better. And you can always use a tip or an advice of somebody experienced.
That's right.
On all levels.
They say Michael Jordan, as good as he was, or is, had a coach.
Looking, we are the headline of our Jamin Foundation project, which we will start officially in July, on the 26th of July, but I think you will announce it, is under the headline Leadership and Project Management, because we encourage every participant to make his or her voice heard.
Yes.
To choose a project. If you don't have an own project, we will invite you to make some promotional video clip for our sponsors or for the Jazz Zone, etc. And you will learn to work in front and behind the cameras. You learn the whole studio setup. You learn how to direct. By the way,
yes.
Yes. Do you know that in music and in television there are the only two remaining dictatorships still happening?
Director.
The director
Yes.
is an absolute dictator. What the director said has to be done. There is no discussion.
You know what?
And in music, may I just finish that?
Yes.
Do you know what's in music? The dictatorship
Conductor?
is the conductor.
Yes.
The director in television at least can talk, can express himself verbally. In the music, he just have to give signs, and then the musician follow.
You know what we have to do?
Yeah.
Maria's going to have to share with you, and we'll have to share with you more information about the Jamin Foundation. We are going to kick off, as you said, here in the city of Pasadena at the main library, downtown Pasadena, July the 26th. It is going to be an astronomical day of workshops, seminars, understanding, and I think there's an aspect of literacy, because sometimes you have a big ear and you can play music, but you can't read. So we need to be able to educate and move forward. We will have some professional musicians there that will help us pull all of this together, and we in the Jamin Foundation are proud to have you as our director of our leadership management program.
I will conduct
And I
some
do thank you.
seminars.
So we say, put your hands up. Bye-bye. Enjoy life with God's blessings, and thank you for viewing Jazz Zone TV show, Jammin' Foundation Style, and that's what's up. Yeah.
Yeah. All that I ask is that you love me. All that I ask is that you care. Now I've known times of being lonely and how it feels to be blue, needing someone to love me only. That one and only can be you. So darling, all that I ask is for your love, dear, to have and to hold forevermore, yes, forevermore. Sure as the skies are blue, you can bet that I love you. Darling, all that I ask is just a chance to prove my love is true. All that I ask is that you love me. All that I ask is that you care. Now I've known times of being lonely and how it feels to be blue, needing someone to love me only. That one and only can be you. So darling, all that I ask is for your love, dear, to have and to hold forevermore, yes, forevermore. Sure as the skies are blue, you can bet.
Well, here we go. Another episode in the Jazz Zone. My name is Roscoe Lee Owens, and I am your host in the Jazz Zone, and a show like none other than the fact that it's like three others, because this is part 4, Music Clinic. This was a Jazzy Jam event that was held in the city of Pasadena at the Rose Bowl. One day I woke up and the phone rang, and it was a young lady that I've known. Her name is Jackie Snell. Jackie Snell came to a aspect in her life that she wanted to do something in music and to develop a wonderful festival. So in 2009, she did a festival, a Jazzy Jam festival, and it was held at one of the local high schools here in Pasadena. I think that high school was Pasadena High School last year. Very, very effective opportunity for our community to receive a very, very fine festival that she had put together and orchestrated. Of course, it takes a team to make the dream work. So it was teamwork to make the dream work. And that's what happened last year. In terms of that, she ended up making it an annual event and brought it back this year. And we in the Jazz Zone and the Jammin' Foundation had an opportunity to work with her on this project. The project conceived last year. She developed and built on it. The musical director that developed the program for the festival that was held at the Rose Bowl was none other than Mr. Don Wyatt. As a musical director for that, he also performed and worked with the musical director of the music clinic, which we produced, the Jazz Zone Jammin' Foundation, at another local high school here in the city of Pasadena. That's John Muir High School. And that musical director was none other than Mr. Nolan Shaheed. And in this roll-in here that we're going to do on Music Clinic Part 4 is to emphasize both musical directors, and you'll see why. So if we are ready, not only we, if you're ready, the time zone is now. So we're gonna turn the dial and bring it up. Here we go. Music Clinic Part 4, roll in.
Now, Don Wyatt is a piano player. Back in the days, we used to say piano, now they say keyboards, because piano players have to play not only the piano, but a various assortment of keyboards that are all electrified. Give a nice round of applause for our man with the hat, Mr. Don Wyatt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing? It's a pleasure to be here to talk to you about my instrument, the piano. Can y'all say piano? Piano! All right, the piano is a big old harp, actually, turned on its side, and it's played by, if you hit the keys, and the keys hit the hammers that make the sound, and it qualifies as a percussion instrument. Can you say percussion instrument? Percussion instrument. That's right. It has a grand piano, a standard grand piano has 88 keys. Can you say 88 keys? 88 keys. I'm going to test you on this at the end. Okay, a couple of facts I want to talk about the piano here. Piano history, famous piano players in music history. Let's start. One of my favorites is Scott Joplin. Are you guys familiar with Scott Joplin? Yes. Okay, Scott Joplin is known for ragtime music, and he was the first black composer to be published. That means his music was written down on paper. Can you all say Scott Joplin? Scott Joplin. Very good to know that. Now, my mother and father met singing backgrounds for another great piano player named Nat King Cole. Can you say Nat King Cole? He's one of my favorite piano players. I can't play like him, but I wish I could demonstrate that for you. Lately, I've been playing for a lot of rock and roll, people like Lenny Kravitz and Sly Stone and people like that, so I've been doing more kind of funk stuff and R&B things, you know. But it's good that I still can play amongst these great jazz musicians, and hopefully I'm not making you guys look too bad. So it's my pleasure to be here. One of my favorite contemporary keyboardists of the day would be Herbie Hancock. Can you guys say Herbie Hancock? Another one would be George Duke, who I had a pleasure of working with. Now Herbie wrote a song, he had a record that came out, I believe in the 70s, called Chameleon. And it was a fabulous album that had fusion music that Louis talked about briefly. And I'd like to demonstrate one of his songs called Chameleon. You guys, here we go.
the jazz trumpet in like about 5 minutes, all the way from like the beginning of it to present times, kind of. This is a very quick history of the jazz trumpet. About 1920, and that was like cats like Buddy Bolden and Louis Armstrong and King Oliver. They were playing that kind of music. Then somebody decided, well, wait a minute, man, that's kind of hard to do. I'm gonna slow it down and play with a toilet plunger. And here's one now. This is a common, ordinary household type toilet plunger, and it's like real cheap. It had a stick that went in it. I took the stick out. It's never been used in a toilet. It seems like there's...
You did grab the right one, right?
Oh, no! Oh, well, I guess I just have to play funky. Back in the 20s, they used to play stuff like this. Decided to play stuff like, in the 30s, like Duke Ellington stuff like this. Like Dizzy Gillespie used to play with another mute. Well, here's one now. This is called a cup mute because it's kind of like a cup. And tunes like Night in Tunisia. And back in the 50s, Miles Davis made another mute. Well, here's one now. This is a Harmon mute. It's made out of aluminum. Say aluminum. See, I was like 35 before I could say aluminum. Anyway, this is a very delicate mute. It's like really soft, really silent. And it's used in tones that Miles Davis made famous, like all blues. Now, back in the 60s, a lot of trumpet players decided that they wanted to